Tonight on CTV News, preparations are underway in the city for the Under-20 Football World Cup. The Youth United Nations meet in Christchurch today, and the much-touted banana shortage is here. This is CTV News. I'm Grant Mangan. A 26-year-old mongrel mob prospect has been found guilty of murdering Christchurch sex worker Melody Mannering. The jury returned its guilty verdict on Moha Huatahi Fawcett after about 6 hours of deliberations. Fawcett represented himself in defending a charge of murder while the Crown brought more than 100 witnesses. It proved Fawcett had been principal or a party to the 27-year-old's fatal bashing at a former mongrel mob building in Galbraith Avenue, Avonside on December 18, 2008. Mannering's brother was absolutely ecstatic over the verdict, but police say their inquiry is not over as others were clearly involved in her death. The Christchurch City Council's Housing Committee is pushing ahead to set up a register of residential rental properties in Christchurch. Marcus Gibbs reports.
The Christchurch City Council's Housing Committee is united over the city's housing problems. Each councillor on the committee wants to make life easier for Cantabrians struggling to find affordable housing. In last year's census, more than 44,000 households were renting homes, but Councillor Glenn Livingston says rent prices have gone up 42% in the last year. At today's Housing Committee meeting, the Tenants Protection Association asked councillors to install a register of the city's rental properties. This would outline how many rentals there are in Christchurch, the quality of the rentals, and assist with rolling out a warrant of fitness standard for rentals.
I think that anybody who's renting a property should rent it to a standard that meets at least the reasonable standard is set under the RTA. There has to be a mechanism to bring people to account who don't.
Christchurch City councillors are in favour of the system, and council staff have been instructed to urgently work to see how easy it would be to put a system like this in place.
It's up to each and every one of us to ensure that people do live in homes that are healthy and are of a standard that people are not going to get sick in them.
The system would be based on other countries. New Zealand's one of a few which doesn't have a registration of residential rental properties. The TPA argues that because businesses, cars and animals need to be registered, why has it taken so long for rentals to follow suit?
So this would certainly help to ensure that in the future we do have a database of what is actually out there at any given time.
The red zoning of 7,000 homes and earthquake damage to thousands of others has led to a high demand for rental properties in Christchurch. The Housing Minister is calling the problem a challenge, but many of the councillors at today's meeting called it a crisis.
I think that the picture that I could paint doesn't go any way towards really describing what it is that people do live in Christchurch at the present time.
If the City Council pushes this through, Christchurch would be leading the rest of the country on the issue. Another urgent meeting to find solutions for the housing problems will be held later this month. Marcus Gibbs, CTV News.
The Youth United Nations had their first day of meetings in Christchurch today. High school students from across Canterbury and around the South Island turned out for the event. Patrick Phelps reports.
They came from all over the province to represent nations from around the world. Sati Ravi Shandaran is a University of Canterbury student and the assistant coordinator for the two-day event.
So today we've got the 2014 Canterbury Model United Nations, so we've got 184 kids from around the Canterbury region to come along and debate issues in the world at the moment surrounding the idea of security, which is our theme for this year.
The honourable delegates will be debating human security, information security, military security and food security. But it's not just debates, there are speakers as well.
So we had Dr. Jeremy Moses from the Canterbury University, who's head of the political science department. So he came in and he gave a good introduction to what security actually means in the global context, especially with the world now, like with the issues in Ukraine and Russia. And so that was really informative.
Over 30 schools have students attending the event. The assistant organiser says it's important to have these functions.
These kids are the politicians, they're the leaders of the future. Like these guys, these ideas they gain today will shape their perspective of the world, will help grow that, and that'll in turn make them better citizens for the future and better global citizens.
There's been a lot of work putting it all together.
Months of preparation. It's got such a tradition over the past few years of just being one of the top events around New Zealand for UN youth, and so we've had to maintain that. So we've just been we've done everything we can essentially. And
The event is being held at the Canterbury Horticultural Society in Hagley Park. Patrick Phelps, CTV News.
Preparations are underway for when Christchurch hosts the Under-20 Football World Cup when it comes to Christchurch. Organisers and the Mayor were inspecting the stadium to check everything was up to standard before it comes to town next year.
The World Cup is the second largest for the International Football Federation, and New Zealand will host 52 of the World Cup matches, with 9 of those being held in Christchurch.
The thing that I was really captured by with this is the role of the under-20 in terms of that launching pad for people's international career.
Today, organisers were inspecting Christchurch Stadium in order to tick all the boxes so it caters perfectly to the tournament when it kicks off in May next year.
There are some modifications, for example, the dressing rooms, but there are solutions, and we're very happy with the progress and with the readiness of the stadium.
FIFA have been very collaborative with us right throughout this process, right around the country, and happy to look at innovative solutions to get each venue up to the right specs.
And Mayor Leanne Dalzell is excited about the opportunities the World Cup will bring to Christchurch.
So of course we provide additional fields which have to be brought up to standard. So there's a legacy for Christchurch in FIFA choosing New Zealand and choosing Christchurch to be part of the tournament.
But the tournament has demands while in Christchurch. No large event, including Crusaders games, are allowed to run while the tournament's in town.
They're going to work around our tournament, which is fantastic and for which we are grateful.
The World Cup has a new trophy for the tournament, but before it starts, the trophy will be doing the rounds around the country, starting in May.
We're really looking forward to, putting the tournament on the map again, the football community and the broader schools and all the other places we're going to visit, and getting people excited about it.
Emma Cropper, CTV News.
Coming up, we meet a man who is walking the length of the country to raise awareness about the state of our nation's rivers.
Tomorrow Today is your science program, presenting a comprehensive overview of the latest trends in science and research. Tomorrow Today, Tuesday night at 7:30 p.m, right here on CTV.
What is it? A button buddy. Who's it for? Everyone. Handmade in New Zealand, Button Buddy shows your support towards anti-bullying and prevention towards child abuse and teenage suicide. Keychains, backpacks, handbags, Button Buddy is a visual way to tell kids they're not alone, they have support. So jump online, show your support and design your Button Buddy at buttonbuddies.co.nz or visit Button Buddies in store.
Hi, Tony Todd, Todd's of Ashburton. Christine and I and all the dedicated team at Todd's wish you a very Merry Christmas and a happy and safe festive season. To all our valued customers around Canterbury, we do thank you for your support over the past year, and we look forward to seeing you all again in 2014. Todd's of Ashburton, maintaining the essence of tradition while keeping in style with today.
Don't worry, I've got my vest. I'll just slip this on.
Hurst Auto Dismantlers, your one-stop shop for all your mechanical and car part needs. Our huge premises boasts a large selection of mechanical parts, panels, tyres and glass. Most makes and models are available on site, and if we don't have it, our trusted staff will do their best to source what you need locally and nationwide. So come in and see the team, or just give us a call and save time and money. Hurst Auto Dismantlers, 343 0099.
It's fun, attractive and functional. It's Button Buddies. Handmade in New Zealand, Button Buddies suits any occasion. Fundraisers, charities or even birthday parties. So jump online, show your support at buttonbuddies.co.nz or visit Button Buddy in store.
The world has a great deal to tell. Journalists from across the world report on their home nations and the experiences of the people who live there. World Stories.
Walking along the Avon River would be a pleasant way for many locals to spend their morning. One man did just that as he walks the length of New Zealand to raise awareness on the state of our waterways. Patrick Phelps joined him for a stroll.
It's coming up half a year since Lance Telstra took his first step from Cape Reinga, and he's still only on his second pair of boots. His socks can smell a bit ripe though.
By the time I get back into town, I'm usually smelling pretty bad, but I keep all my old socks in a plastic bag, and it usually smells a bit like ammonia when I come back out.
But it's not dirty socks that have Mr. Telstra marching down the country.
There's some pretty serious problems with water pollution around New Zealand, and that they're growing, and that it is largely comes down to intensification of agriculture, in particular dairy farming, and that people are getting a little bit fed up with it.
He admits while the dairy industry is the main problem, it's not the only problem.
Obviously there are other problems like stormwater from cities, the odd point source pollution, like the odd effluent from town sewage systems and things like that.
Lance Telstra says it's the ever-increasing number of dairy farms that's affecting the state of our rivers.
And while they're introducing some mitigation measures, if you keep increasing the amount of pollution that's going into the water, it doesn't matter how much you try to mitigate it, you're just increasing the amount of pollution.
He says he's not anti-farming, but he thinks legislation needs looked at.
I've got friends in the industry and they're good hard-working people, and it is a hard job. But I think that the lobby groups like Federated Farmers and Dairy NZ and the government need to have a really good look at this and come clean and say, yes, we do have a problem, which they're starting to do.
Lance Telstra says the RMA and National Policy for Freshwater Management need to be reviewed, or the country could become a sewer. He's aware it's a matter of cost. A lot of farmers don't necessarily have the money to put towards environmental schemes, but also feels polluters should pay. For Canterbury, he says there's one big issue at the moment.
It's the conversion up on the Hiranui River that Ngāi Tahu want to do. It's a gigantic dairy conversion, turning forestry into dairy, and it stands to send nitrate levels through the roof in the Hiranui River, which is going to affect all of the other farmers that are in that catchment area.
Mr. Telstra says as rivers are flowing things, once work's put in place, they don't take too long to clean. Patrick Phelps, CTV News.
Federated Farmers is hitting back against a survey released by Fish and Game regarding the quality of New Zealand's water. Chris Allen is the Mid-Canterbury Provincial President and says many people don't understand the issues.
Fish and Game's recent survey says 70% of Kiwis believe water quality is worse than it was 20 years ago, and most think it's a result of increased dairy farming. Chris Allen believes dairy farmers are easy to blame.
They're a very easy target. They're a big industry within New Zealand agriculture. But they're also a big thing for New Zealand that's paying a lot of bills. Our lifestyle, whether we're a sheep and beef farmer or whether we're someone living in a city, it actually reflects the success of our rock star industry, which is agriculture.
Mr. Allen says the effective regulation is in place, but the environmental effects have built up over decades and they can't be undone overnight. He also warns against forcing regulation upon people too quickly.
But regulation requires time. We don't want to go back to Rogernomics, where regulation changed overnight and farmers went out of business more or less overnight. If we've got some money in our pockets, we can invest in some of those mitigations required for water quality.
The Mid-Canterbury Federated Farmers President says that with the regulations in place today, very few farmers break the rules and are doing the best they can.
Not everyone follows the speed limit and they get caught. But there's just a thing dealing with humans. The vast majority of dairy farmers look at the rules. That's all they want to do is farm to the rules and make sure that they stay within those rules.
Road construction firm Fulton Hogan has signalled an interest in Christchurch City Council-owned City Care if it's put up for sale. Fulton Hogan Managing Director Nick Miller says other road works companies with a lesser presence in Christchurch could be more interested. Fulton Hogan yesterday posted a profit of $64 million for the last financial year. The newly elected Christchurch City Council is reviewing its assets holdings. City Care is responsible for the maintenance and rebuild of the city's roads and water, sewage and stormwater networks with other Skirt Alliance members. Woolston and Bamford schools launched the William Pike Challenge Award yesterday. The award teaches children to face challenges and fosters a love of the outdoors in their own backyard.
William Pike is no stranger to challenges. Since he was young, he's had a love of the outdoors. In 2007, when Mount Ruapehu erupted, he and a friend faced challenges of their own.
We were caught in the volcanic eruption, and I lost my leg from below the knee, and it was quite an ordeal with James having to run down the mountain and raise the alarm, and me in a very critical state, having to be rescued off the mountain and face a lot of challenges afterwards, and then have to overcome those challenges to get my life back on track to where I am today.
The award teaches Year 7 and 8 students to overcome obstacles in their lives.
And what they have to do to obtain the award is they do 8 outdoor activities throughout the year. They do 20 hours of community service and 20 hours of personal development, which is a new sport or a new hobby.
The program started out in a small number of schools, but since then it's really taken off.
And, in 2012 there was 4 schools doing the William Pike Challenge Award. It grew to 16 schools in 2013. Now there's 31 schools around the country doing the William Pike Challenge Award.
By 2015, Mr. Pike says he hopes to have almost 60 schools participating in the award. He says it's a great opportunity for him to combine 2 passions.
My passion lies in education as a past primary school teacher and within the outdoors, and to be able to combine the outdoors and education is fantastic.
The program will allow students to participate in sea kayaking, rock climbing, tramping and orienteering. Patrick Phelps, CTV News.
A feature of last weekend's Cheviot AMP show was the barrel racing. It involves horses racing around upended barrels and a stopwatch. That's the extent of my knowledge. So here's our commentator Rob Cope-Williams to talk us through the rules of barrel racing.
One of the lovely things about the horses and ponies at the show is that they don't stay in one class. While there's jumping and behavioural and lovely classes for the best dressed and the best presented, there's also a bit of Americana. This is barrel racing with 3 entries for the 12s and under. Obviously it's against the clock, and it's really just a case of how good is a pony compared to a quarter horse. And so from a standing start, it's really just a case of, it's supposed to be a sprint, but in this case it's more of a trot. The quarter horses, of course, obviously are named quarter horses because of their speed over a quarter of a mile, whereas a little Welsh pony is probably going to be a bit slower than that. But anyway, it's still being part of the whole thing. You notice the rider was wearing the traditional English type gear as opposed to the Western, and a quiet little trot, quick gallop, and that's the Welsh pony all over again. Well, that was a bit different to the things you have been doing today.
Yes, it definitely was.
Bit of a slow trot rather than a full-time gallop, though.
Yeah, it was. I'm not really used to the galloping thing, but I'll get used to it soon.
But Rosie did everything that she should have.
Yes, she was very well done. I'm very proud of her.
Okay. This time it's a bit more of a gallop. Just remembering that these are 12-year-olds and younger, hanging on there, the ponytail flying behind. You can go around the barrels in either direction. It doesn't really matter, as long as you do actually go right round. And then there's the sprint for home. The ears are back, and it is definitely serious. Into bigger horses now, and once again, it's supposed to be a full, hard gallop. But at this stage, it's more of a sort of a trot and a canter, but being urged on very hard. The horse is obviously not totally aware of what's going on. Practice probably would have been a good thing, but it's still competing. And now we go for the gallop for home.
And if you were wondering what it's like when the horse and rider barrel around the course, take a look at this. Needless to say, we had a fantastic time at the Cheviot AMP show, and that will feature on Rob's Country Showtime a week this coming Monday, so a fortnight yesterday, if that makes sense. Does to me. Still to come, Lincoln University played host to a special game of cricket today.
Be watching CTV News first at 5 and you could win up to $5,000 every week with CTV's cash giveaways. For more information, visit our website and be watching CTV News first at 5.
It's on, like Taiwan.
Freeze! Police!
Get down! Brandon! Don't worry, I've got my vest. I'll just slip this on. That's better.
At Lamb & Haywood, we're committed to providing you with the very best environment at your time of greatest need. You can choose from the best facilities in Canterbury, our recently refurbished West Park Chapel, the Kerrs Road Chapel in Eastern Christchurch, or perhaps Waimana Chapel in Rangiora. However you remember, commemorate or celebrate the life of your loved one, whether it's an intimate group or a grand send-off, the choice is yours. Lamb & Haywood, a tradition of caring.
Christchurch has its very own enchanted utopia, the Hitching Post. Pop in and see for yourself. A magical assortment of handmade creations, custom-made candles and artwork. Choose from our huge range of water features, garden art and imported giftware. Specialists in handcrafted metal artwork made in store. Nestled on 722 Marshlands Road, the Hitching Post, defining art our way.
Hi, I'm Caitlin, the naturopath here at Staywell Pharmacy. Working with the pharmacist, I use herbal and nutritional medicine to recommend natural alternatives for your health. This can be to counteract any side effects of your medication, general health advice, or natural options for you and your family. I'm also available for consultations. So come in and see us at Staywell Pharmacy, 27 Shands Road, Hornby. Staywell Pharmacy, live well, stay well.
Join us tonight at 6 for DW World News. Informative, lively, international news, breaking stories and global developments. DW News, weekdays at 6 p.m, right here on CTV.
The shelves are finally bare. The much touted banana shortage is here, at least in some stores.
Yes, we have no bananas.
A favourite fruit is missing from some Christchurch shelves. Stocks of bananas are low as a shortage reaches its peak. But it's not the floods to blame for the low stock at Harvest Market Shirley. Instead, a shipment carrying a ton of bananas bound for New Zealand was delayed due to mechanical problems, causing customers to miss out on their fruity treat.
What is the world coming to today?
Last week, the Prime Minister knew of the approaching banana shortage when he visited the flood-hit store. But back then, the shop's owner was feeling confident.
Okay, we've got about 5 cartons, so we're pretty good.
Right. Yeah, hang in there, you'll be fine.
Not so much today, though, after customers cleaned out the store this morning.
When people start hearing that they're going to be short, we've had people just come in and just buy as many as they could. Most I've seen is about 6 to 10 bunches, so they have one of our trolleys pretty much just layered with them, so they're real worried about running out of bananas.
At 12 years at Shirley's Harvest Market, Kyle's surprised by the rush, but it seems bananas mean a lot to people.
I mean, it's bad enough with all the bombings and things that are going on without them taking our bananas away.
They sure mean a lot to Pam Wilson.
Well, I have about 1 or 2 a day. What are you going to put in the smoothie?
The Prime Minister's a fan. Bananas are great for the local economy.
It's the #1 selling item in New Zealand. We sell more bananas than anything else. Hard to believe. I know.
Fendalton New World was the place to go for bananas today. An eyewitness sent in this clip to CTV News. Despite their signs warning of a shortage, the shelves were flush with the yellow fruit. A spokeswoman for Foodstuffs says despite the shortage, bananas should be back on shelves by the end of the week. Marcus Gibbs, CTV News.
Unbelievable. Lincoln University played host today to a special game of cricket. 2 special teams faced off, featuring New Zealand Cricket Board members, cricket scholars and alumni of the university.
Bring out the tea and serve up the cucumber sandwiches. 2 sides faced off today. New Zealand Cricket put forward a team to play against the University Chancellor's Invitational team. Former black cap, former student And today's captain of the Chancellor's 11, Jeff Allett, says it's great to focus on cricket in light of New Zealand's success.
Yeah, we're proud of the guys and girls for that matter. You know, the White Ferns and Black Caps have done incredibly well this season, and led fantastically by Brendan McCullum, you know, who's capped off with a 302, you know, in Wellington. So.
The teams playing today featured past and present Lincoln students. Chancellor Tom Lambie even stepped up to bat.
We've got tremendous facilities here. We've got some of the best grounds in the country. We're really a focal point of the high performance sports within cricket.
Well, it was all in good fun. Every game needs an umpire. Former Black Cap and cricket great Sir Richard Hadley kept everyone in order. He says it's a good idea for fostering Kiwi cricket.
The idea is good. It just builds a relationship between New Zealand cricket and the university, and let's all work together for the betterment of New Zealand cricket.
And no cheaters out here today? Everyone going by the rules?
No, they're all playing by the rules. Some of them are taking it a bit more seriously than others.
Patrick Phelps, CTV News.
New Zealand cricket won by 4 wickets. Ex-Black Cap Craig McMillan retired on 72 from 29 balls. If you're driving around the central city, CTV's traffic update will assist you navigating the repairs taking place.
Hello travellers, to help you plan your journey around the central city, here's an update on what's happening on the roads. Work on Fitzgerald Avenue is in place on both north and southbound routes, from Kilmore Street across the bridge. This means journeys during the morning and evening will take longer. While the work's in place, the best route north is down Montreal Street. All southbound routes through the city are running slow as works continue, so we advise all travellers to allow extra time during peak hours. Because of the work, there will be delays. Stay tuned this week for more updates on what's happening with the central city roads, and in the meantime visit the Transport for Christchurch website.
And finally tonight, your regional weather.
Kia ora everyone. Well, a large anticyclone covers the Tasman Sea and most of New Zealand, meaning we can expect some fine weather in Canterbury. Now for the weather in your area. Low cloud in Kaikoura at first and again during the evening, but fine during the day with sunny periods and the usual northeasterlies will be present. Tonight's low expect 9 degrees, tomorrow's high 19. Fine and sunny in Hanmer with light winds and mild temperatures. Tonight expect a low of 7 and tomorrow a high of 23. Tangiora Kaipoi, a typical autumn day in line for North Canterbury with patchy morning low cloud clearing and long sunny periods during the day. Tonight's low 9, tomorrow's high 19 degrees. Christchurch, some low cloud morning and at night, but mostly fine and sunny during the day with northeasterly winds expected. Tonight's low 9 degrees, tomorrow's high 18. Ashburton, another northeasterly day for mid-Canterbury with long sunny periods and moderate winds. Tonight's low 9 degrees, tomorrow's high 19. Timaru, some low cloud morning and night, but mostly fine and sunny during the day, with northeasterlies expected there also. Tonight's low 9 degrees, tomorrow's high 19. In other areas now, mostly fine for all, some cloud expected in the morning for Darfield, Methven, Akaroa and Leaston. Culverden can expect a high of 21, as can our friends on the west coast, Arthur's Pass and Greymouth, both on 21 degrees. Looking ahead for Canterbury, mostly fine and sunny with scattered high cloud on Thursday, moderate northeasterlies with a risk of fog patches during the night. Friday, fine with sunny periods and increasing high moderate northeasterlies. Also a risk of fog patches Friday night as well. And that's your weather outlook for Wednesday. Have a great evening.
And that's CTV News for Tuesday. I'm Grant Mangan. Good night.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.